Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the continuation of our training on climate risk scenario. We are continuing to construct our climate risk scenario at the moment. And in our previous lecture, we started with assumptions, scenario assumptions. Ladies and gentlemen, this is very important requirement of IFRS S2 and TCFD. It is always important that I remind you of the reason why we are doing everything we are doing here in this training all the way. For that reason, it will be easy to understand and to really consolidate your knowledge of your that you are acquiring here, all right? To know why you are doing everything you are doing. That's the best way to learn, okay? So we stopped at narratives and I briefly started introducing each of the four assumptions we are using. The input variable, beg your pardon, these are all assumptions. The scenarios are all assumptions. The narratives are part of the assumptions. And then the input variables are very cardinal points, key important cardinal points in the whole of the pack of assumptions, ladies and gentlemen. So we have number one, carbon price. Yep, carbon price. It's our key input variable. So we are going to be making some key assumptions about what will be the carbon price under this scenario. One SSP1 scenario. What will the carbon price be like? We know what carbon price is. I'm not going to explain it, ladies and gentlemen. You have taken time to study carbon prices, to study all of the carbon price and all of the emission trading systems in the world, especially in Europe. We have covered all of that in module. Is it module one? Yes, module one of this training. All right. So we are in module 3 now, which is the final module. So we're going to be making use of all of those concepts, theories that we studied in module 1, ladies and gentlemen. Module 1, module 2. You see, we study the reporting framework and standards that we can use to prepare scenario. That is TCFD and IFRS S2, right? And you could see we are just referencing them here in module 3. And that is the way, because you are an advanced knowledge, you are advanced in knowledge, all right, in climate risk, all right. A climate risk expert who has step up his knowledge base technically, So that's why I'm just referring to those things. I'm not going to be explaining. I'm not going to explain what carbon price is. All I want to do here is to teach you how to fetch the data. Where can I get the data about carbon prices as projected by IPCC? All right. The model, the climate risk scenario that we are using to build our own company, Boeing Corporation's climate risk scenario. All right. So that's the purpose of this chapter. Is more practical than theoretical. The past chapters or sessions or modules were more of theoretical and legal requirements. This one is hands-on, using the knowledge you have acquired in module 1 and module 2. Thank you. So carbon price. We're going to fetch data for carbon price. Let's start with carbon price and how to fetch the data and bring that data into our model assumptions. Okay, so this data, I'm going to switch my screen now to the internet to teach you the data center. I want to show you the data center launched by IPCC. Yeah, the IPCC is called World Data Explorer. All right, so I'm turning to my browser and I'll come here to this point, and this is the world data launched by IPCC. All right, it's called IPCC Scenario Data Explorer. So you are allowed by IFRS S2 and TCFD to use this kind of independent, verifiable data to build your company's scenario, a climate scenario assumptions. Okay, you cannot manufacture your own data, ladies and gentlemen. You have to use a data that a third party can verify. All right, that okay, here they are assuming the carbon price will be this. Where did you get this data? They can come to the IPCC World Data Center and get hands on this same data, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we mean. So we are looking at our worldindata.org IPCC. Okay, our world in data. I'm going to put the link. I'll copy the link and put it as a source document for us, because it's a very important data point. Without this data point, you cannot implement IPCC. All right, you cannot implement IPCC climate scenarios for your company. So it's like the oil in the engine. All right, without oil or gasoline or fuel, your engine cannot move. All right, so data is the oil in climate risk scenario. All right, so I will copy it. Let me copy it right away and put it in your scenario, because I'm going to share this, upload this scenario we will construct together up there. So I will put it here. All right, so it's a link here for you, and this is your very important tool as a professional climate risk expert. Carry it on and use it effectively. So I'm going back to the data point. So what metrics are we looking at? So look at the scenarios here. We are interested in scenario SPP1. All right, SPP1. Or let's download the data for all the scenarios. Okay, let's bring down the data for all the scenarios. That's what we're going to do. And so the metric we are looking at is carbon price. So you type carbon price here. Can you see? I select the carbon price, and you see the data updates immediately to carbon prices. So the time horizon that I'm basically looking at is from 2025. Now, the data point, we're going to move to the next phase. So let's be careful with the time horizon you select. I want to put our time horizon at 2020, from 2020 upward to 2100. Okay, no, to 2050. Remember, we defined the time horizon to 2050. Up to 2050, we are looking at the physical risk manifestation, right? Then up to 2035, can you see? So we're in 2060 now, but I wanted to go down to 2050. Okay, move to 2050. Can you see? I'm adjusting the time. Great, we're in 2050 now. So we'll move back. Yeah, 2030, 2020. I love this. So we're looking at 2020 to 2050. That is the time horizon we are selecting to build this scenario, climate scenario. Remember our step one. We're in step one. This is what step one says we should do. We should select the scenarios. Well, we have selected the scenarios. Look at the scenarios we are selecting. We selected SP1. We'll select the SP2. All right, we selected SP2, SSP1, SSP2, SSP2, SSP2. So we're selecting the SSP2. All right, that's SSP2 being selected. And then we are selecting SSP5, scenarios, SSP5. You see, if you notice, there are more than one SSP5, right? But I'm interested in selecting the SSP5, then 6.0. That's my interest. I'm pretty much more interested in that. So, and I'm interested in that because I want to see the extremes and then the baseline. So for every SSP you select, there is a baseline to it. So the baseline help you with constructing the change, because remember, we are interested in the change. Now, okay, let's look at carbon prices from the baseline carbon price to where we are projecting, maybe 2035. What will carbon price be like? All right. So it helps us to see how carbon price will evolve or change over time. That's the importance of the baseline. So for every SSP, there is an SSP baseline. Look at it. For SSP1, there is SSP1 baseline. For SSP2, there is SSP2 baseline. For SSP5, there is a SSP5 baseline. Look at it. So for SSP2, we have SSP2 baseline. Yeah, look at it here. SSP2 baseline, SSP5 baseline. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm introducing the concept of baseline because you need to select a scenario baseline. When you select a scenario, you must also select a scenario baseline. Ladies and gentlemen, hope that is taken. Great. So now look at it. The scope will also determine that what kind of data are we looking at. We want to look at global data because we are looking at Boeing Corporation. And Boeing Corporation, we are looking at the operations in North America. Sorry, I mentioned North Africa before. Beg your pardon, take this correction. It's North America. North America, which is the largest market, and then Europe, and then Asia. So that's almost like the whole world, isn't it? So because of that, we are selecting under scope as global. All right. So we're looking at global. So if your organization is a regional organization that has a regional market and sells to regional companies, regional customers, beg your pardon, then your scope selection should be that region. For example, you can select Asia if you are building a climate risk model for a company that is based in Asia, has customers in Asia, does not have customers outside of Asia, then you have to select Asia as the scope of your data, okay? If you are looking at Middle East and Africa, your organization has presence in Middle East and Africa, most of these customers are in Middle East and Africa, then your scope has to be Middle East and Africa. Is that clear? Great. So when you have finished selecting the scope, we select our scope of the data as global. Ladies and gentlemen, global. And then we will scroll down, and you will see a download arrow. Click on download arrow, and your data will be, you have this download pen thrown up on you. Click the first one, which is full data, download full data. So I click on the first one, and then it's downloaded. It's a zip file. I open it. I want to extract it. I will extract it into our working folder. Ladies and gentlemen, extracting it into our working folder. Get to our working folder here. This is our working folder, IPCC data points. So here, I will just save it. Sorry. So I'll push it into that folder. That's it. So it's in that folder right now. Yeah, it has pushed to that folder. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Carbon price. Okay, global. This is it. So I double click, and it's opening. It's opening. Great. So ladies and gentlemen, we have now harvested our data on carbon price. All right. So we are going to process this data in our next lecture and extract what we need, because we don't need everything. All right. Thank you.